Welcome back, everybody. I am here to introduce Nilesh, who works in New Delhi in India. Nilesh was a Google Summer of Code student with Plone a couple of years ago, and he is the creator of the Create Vaulto app, which is a tool used by developers, hundreds of developers, I'd guess, well, hundreds of times, thousands of times by developers working with Vaulto. And I was really pleased to see that he's been working with Oda Web, continuing to do great things with that crew. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Nilesh.
Okay, hi there. Let me just share my screen now. Okay. All right. So I'm here to talk about. So am I clear now? Yeah. So hope it's clear. So like I'll be talking about the name suggests the bundle splitting and the lazy loading stuffs. How we generally do in general and how we generally approached in Volto. So the main agenda will be talking much giving some insights on how we do bundle splitting and like how we do lazy loading stuffs basically in Volto. So let's start. So what is bundle splitting? So bundle splitting means generally creating a new different JS files out of a single bundle JS file, which Webpack creates for us. So Webpack injects some bundle JS file, bundle.js file in our HTML, so which is generated by Webpack itself. And so the main thing what we generally do is to split this bundle JS file into different bundles, because we don't need a single bundle JS to load, and we really want them to split so that we can decrease page load time. So we really need to split our code or bundles to different chunks, so that it can be loaded on demand whenever a navigation is hit. So that's why we need bundle splitting. So we do have a Webpack which bundles our code so into a single JS static file, and Webpack also sometimes split the bundles. So I think let me just okay. I don't think know if it's still working or maybe okay. It's right now. Okay, so let's move on the next slide. So, so this is how generally Webpack or any bundler tool works. So we do have different source files, bundle.js files, and we concatenate all together in a like we give this source file into a bundler. So let's say we have a node modules or single different source files, and some bundler. Let's say we use Webpack in Volto. So that bundle tool will take all these bundle files, which is generated on demand when we navigate to a page, and then it will concatenate into a single bundle JS, and that bundle JS will be moved inside a script. So basically, we need to split these bundles, because we can't just load everything in a single bundle. This will really like increase a lot of code and a lot of page load time. So this is how generally bundle tool works. Let's say we have Webpack, Processify, or Parcel. So I think this is the like a main idea about how a bundle tool works. So as I said earlier, the main idea is about the bundle JS. So this is the main bundle JS file, which any maybe module bundler does, and any tool does this, and we separate this bundle JS into different files. These are basically JavaScript files, and these are loaded on demand. So if we like navigate to a different page, let's say navigation one is loaded on the navigation one, or maybe second file is loaded on the navigation two, and third on the navigation three, and so on. So these all files are be loaded dynamically on the script tags. So they'll be added as a script tag on the HTML file, and Webpack does it for us. So we have different ways to split bundle. So first, I think first one is manually we can add entry points and in the Webpack configuration. So like entry point 1, entry point 2, and that will create different bundles for it. But this is not recommended because we can't just manually add bundles. We can't just manually tweak the configure Webpack config, and it's a bit of hustle when we supply entry points. So also there is a problem of duplication of modules if we do like that. So let's say if we have a module 1 and module 2, the same module as the module 3 is used on these two modules, then these three will be duplicated. So I think this is the problem with manually doing it. The other thing, we can solve that duplication problem using the split chunks plugin, and I think we also use it in Volto. So what it does is it takes the module which is shared between two different chunks into a separate chunk, and so this is how it removes the duplicated dependencies. Third one is the we can dynamically import, or we can lazy load things, and this is how we'll do with external library named loadable component. So it has some benefits over the original React lazy and React suspense. So I think I'll be talking about it later. Another thing which we generally don't do in Volto right now, but I think we maybe we can adopt it in future. And also this is a Webpack prefetch and preload. So Webpack also support this, and I think we have this loadable component. This also support this thing through magic comments. So prefetching means the prefetching the resource available when it which are needed in the future pages. So if we need some resource in future in any page, that's in any of the navigation, then we prefetch it. And preload means we can load the resources which are needed in the current page. So this should be in current page, not on the any other pages. So this is how generally we prefetch. So also they results in the link tag creation in the HTML file. So this is how these things work. So they result in the link tag creation, something like link rel prefetch and preload. So and also provide the chunk name there. So this is a topic that I think don't use it, but yeah, it's good to know. So yeah, this is the main topic which I want to give some insights. Dynamically, how do we dynamically import a component when we hit a navigation or hit any component? So we import a module on demand, and so this dynamic import returns a promise, and we can it resolves when the component is successfully imported. To lazy load modules, we React support React.lazy. So we didn't choose it because it has to be wrapped in suspense for using, and the suspense doesn't support SSR. So that's why we do not use React lazy and React suspense. So we choose these loadable components and to make us support SSR while maintaining while for dynamically importing things. So the API structure is similar to React Lazy, and like how React Lazy imports and the support the magic comments in Webpack. Also, it supports dynamic variables names in the import statements, generally what we have. So what Webpack has is generally we can have some variables in the import statements, so which generally can resolve to a component, and through that variable we can lazy load any component we want. It's amazing actually. So it's also support SSR out of the box. So have some like a Webpack plugin and a Babel plugin, which is used to support server-side rendering. So the configuration has to be done on the server side. I mean on the server file, and like extract the chunks from like chunks extract. I'll show you how it works. And so extract chunks on the server and pass it to the context of graph with the extract manager. So it returns some, it has some extract manager which like pass our extracted chunks to to the context of our application, and we can like extract these chunks on the server. So if we try to lazy load an external library in Volto, we do that heavily. And we like let's try to lazy load an external library. Let's say we lazy loaded React drop zone. So, okay. So if we in like in Webpack also have this static like the bundle analyzer, which runs on a different port, and we can like it's there in actually Volto, so we can run it on a different like command with yarn analyze. We have this very good map kind of map which has these chunks, and just the bundle size, the gzip size, and the parse size. So let's say if we try to lazy load React drop zone, and we see that the before chunk size is, if we have a look at, it's 473.98 KB, and the parse size is 1.5 MB. So this is before we like do some lazy load stuffs, and after that we can move. So this is a chunk size before when we try to lazy load. So when we like go when we this is the place where we use the React drop zone package. So it's now we do not have any separate bundle of it right now. So we'll try to lazy load it, and we'll show like how it actually works. Okay. So for like lazy loading, we have to add the dynamic import. So this is the only line which we need, as Victor showed us earlier. We need to have the dynamic import, and so this is we import loadable from loadable component, and we have this moment, and we initialize the loadable to import the React drop zone dynamically. So we can it also supports the magic commands, Webpack magic commands, and it can have the like the thing loaded when we dynamically import a component. So also when the Webpack like came across this syntax, it start component splitting and try to like split our app in between. Let's say if we have a component, okay. So here we will, if all of one can see it, we can have how we lazy load a component. So here we will see that if we like if when we put those lines into code, we will see that when I open the React drop zone containing code, so we see that in the like on the network tab under the JS tab, we have this React drop zone lazy loaded. So this lazy loaded React drop zone is came out on a separate chunk. So we can have a look at this. This is a separate chunk, and that's how it generally works. Whenever Webpack came across the syntax, it like dynamically loads it and splits out on a different chunk, and it can be like seen here how generally Webpack does it. This is generally like you done by loadable component, but Webpack also like starts creating a dependency graph when it came across that loadable syntax. So you can see the lazy loaded module here, and generally it works. So you can see these lazy loaded on the tab here. We do have another files like very other places we use this dynamic import. So if we head down and we just move bottom, click on it. If we click on a page, then we also see some other components which are lazy loaded. So these components, some of it are using the loadable component itself, and some of are done by Webpack. So Webpack also splits our bundles based on some conditions. So if we have so split chunk plugin that we have, as I talked about earlier, we have a split chunks plugin, so which lazy loads our component, splits the bundles basically. So let's say with these bundles we have, they are separated a little from Webpack, and some of them they are separated by loadable components itself. So if we reload it, we find that whenever we hit a resource, we find these chunks overloaded, and we find all these things uh, on the network tab. So these are all the lazy loaded and splitted chunks. Now, after we lazy load, we see that our chunk size decreased from 470. Let's say what was before 473 to before we have the chunk size at 473 k 98 KB, and right now if we see the chunk size is 468.9 KB. So we have decreased the chunk size. This is the main chunk, and we just opted out the React drop zone package from the main chunk, and now it's available on as a different chunk, which I've shown. And this is the main chunk size, which is decreased to 468. This is the gzip size, and it decreased to 468.97 KB. So this is what we also have, like we can analyze the bundle size. We do have a Webpack bundle analyzer, which I just show you. This opens on a new port, and when we hit on yarn analyze, then we can see that this Webpack bundle analyzer opens on a new port, and it will show a nice graph of all the static chunks we do have for Volto. So under this, so if you see this chunk, under this chunk we have node modules, and these all modules are under this chunk. So it's very cool thing which is developed by Webpack, and right now it's also integrated into a Razel with a Razel plugin. And as we in Volto we use Razel, so we have that in Volto as well. Just try yarn analyze, and then you can find it. We also have a bundle phobia where we can like see the bundle size and like compare how like these bundle size has changed. We can like go over it and we can just play around with it. We do also have a bundle size which we also use in Volto right now. So in the Siddharth like it's developed by, and we have the bundle size tool. So it takes care of our bundle size. When we like open a PR, if bundle size like increase that, it'll it will tell us right away then that bundle size has increased. We have to do something for it. Yep. So yeah, this is the main little topic about how we split bundles in Volto. How do we do it with the loadable library? And feel free to create PRs. We have PR open for like lazy loading. We do have some libraries which we need to lazy load, and there is an issue, and we can like if you want hop on it and contribute to Volto. So yeah, this is I want to tell, I think.
Thank you, Nilesh. I would like to remind everyone who's watching to join Nilesh in the face-to-face, which is available below this part of the video on your Loudswarm page. There's a blue button for face-to-face, and you can ask him some questions or just chat. I don't see any questions in the Slido, but he'll be happy to join you. And So thank you again, Nilesh. That was very interesting.
Okay.
I've always found it great to be able to lazy load all sorts of resources, and thank you for showing us how to do this with Vaulto.
Yeah, thank you.